Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Nat Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. So I'm going to show us quickly how to sew this scrub right here. Sewing a scrub is quite simple and straightforward. It's not difficult at all. So I am going to show us in a matter of few minutes how to sew a scrub like this. Alright, so if you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell on. I would really appreciate it. So without wasting time, let's hit into the video and design our scrub. Thank you. So sewing a scrub there are just some basic little differences I'm going to be showing you between that and a native. As you can see in the cutting of a scrub, the cutting is not much different from that of the native. All right, the cutting is basically the same. The scrub is free, it's not tight to the body, it's free. The arm curving, the shape is straight. Okay, it's not you don't shape it, except you are doing for ladies. They always want their things to be shaped, but for male, the shape is also straight when you cut it and all that. So basically the difference between the scrub and normal native is that scrubs are mostly, the neck is mostly V. As you can see, the neck here, it is V. Okay, and one of the things you should look out for is how deep the neck should be. That's the most important thing. So when you're cutting your scrub, your neck shouldn't be deeper than 7 inches from the shoulder line. This is our shoulder line. So from here, the depth of this neck should not be deeper than 7 inches, except the person is extra big, right, extra large. It shouldn't be deeper than 7 inches, and the wideness should not be more than 2.5 inches to 3 inches. Maximum should be 3 inches wide. All right, and then you make a straight line and you cut it out. All right, so even the neck, initially you can cut it round. Okay, and then you remove this if you don't want, because for some native, now we have a lot of styles in scrubs. Some scrubs have round neck, so it's actually a choice, but the normal conventional way of making a scrub is that the neck is V. So we make it a V neck. We give it a depth of 7 inches from the shoulder line, and this neck is very strategic because you need to do it in a way that this person's neck head will go through. All right, as you can see, I deepen this neck at the back here much more than normal deepening for a native. I deepen it by 1 inch. Meanwhile, when we are cutting native, at most you deepen the back by ½ inch, but I deepen this by 1 inch. This will give me more allowance for my head to come in, for the customer's head to come in. Right, if it is not deep, you will then have to increase the depth in front or the wideness of the neck, which might become too much. So you deepen it behind as deep as 1 inch, and then you open it from 2.5 inches to 3 inches maximum. Then the depth from the shoulder line here down is 7 inches. Now, after you are done with that, the next thing we are going to do now is to work on the front piece, and then you also cut your yoke. All right, I've cut my yoke. This is my yoke. All right, for the back piece, this is my yoke. All right, already cut and folded the edge. So this is my yoke for the back piece. Now the neck. All right, how are you going to do the neck? One of the most important things on the scrub is the neck. All right, the neck, how to do the neck. So it's very simple. This is the neck here. So look at this. I cut my material here that I'm going to use to turn this neck. I cut it to be about just 2.2 inches. All right, 2.2 inches, and then I folded it by ½ inch. Okay, because what I'm going to do is this: I'm going to sew from inside. I'm going to keep it sew from inside. All right, and then we'll turn it to the front side. I believe you can have a clue of what I'm talking about. This is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to keep inside, sew, and turn it to the outside. So for that reason, I'm going to divide this into 2, each 4, and the length of it is such that it can this can come here, and this can do what? Come here. It's as simple as this. So I'm going now to the machine. We'll sew, we keep it on the bad side, sew it and turn it inwards. Then we continue with our next step. So as you can see, this is the bad side of the material. So I kept the good side of the neck facing the bad side of the material. You see, the good side facing the bad side, and I made a stitch on this line of the neck. You see, ½ inch. The stitch is about ½ inch. Right. So if you turn to the good side now, you can see that all my stitches are meeting together at a midpoint here. All right. So I'm going to open it here up to that point. All right. So once I open up to this point here, the next thing I will do is simply to turn it out. All right. So as you can see, I'm simply going to turn this out and then use my iron to press it. Okay. So you see, the next thing we're going to do is to deal with this point here. So I'm going to cut one. All right. I'm going to cut this one. All right, such that this one, the other one will match on the one I've cut. Okay, make sure you give it a nice pressing. Alright, so even this, I'm going to reduce the excess of it. I'm going to reduce it, and then I'm going to fold it inside this other one that I just cut here. All right. Now this has to be done very, very neatly, okay? Because if you don't do it neatly, the front of this will not be looking fine, and if the front is not looking fine, then the whole work cannot be fine, because the front is the center of attraction. All right, so you can see how I folded it. Make sure you fold it neatly, okay? And your gum will actually help you at this point. You ensure to use your hemming gum. All right. So after pressing it well, the next thing we're going to do now is to go to the machine and run a stitch, 2 stitches here at the edge, another one on the edge here. All right, that's what we are doing next. So as you can see, I went to the machine, and after we hem it, I run a stitch, and I prefer it with double stitches. Okay, so I run double stitches on it. After we folded it and pressed it properly, I run a double stitch on it on the neck. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to work on our chest pocket, and where should it be located? Very, very important. Now, it's a biro pocket. It's not as big as the normal big pocket out, for normal natives. It's just a wideness of 2 inches is okay. You see, so I cut this fabric to be 3.5 inches by 7 inches. Okay, I'm going to fold it. We just need the wideness of the pocket to be just 2 inches, and that will be okay. So we're going to fold it. All right, I'm going to fold it this way. So I'm going to check 2 inches is here. So I'm going to fold it here again. Alright, and the depth of our pocket, 4 inches will be okay. Alright, Now let's just give it 5 inches since it's for biro. Let's so that biro can settle inside very well. So I'm going to fold it up here. I'm going to fold it up. Alright. And let's check where our 5 inches is. These are 5 inches. I'm also going to fold it here. So we're going to use hemming gum to gum it properly. Alright, so we are gumming here. And we are gumming here. This is just a biro pocket, it's not for anything serious, okay? So we use a hemming gum to gum it here. Alright, and then we gum it here as well. Okay. Alright, so we have our pocket. So the next thing we're going to do now is to place it where it should be. And where should the pocket be? Very important. Where should it be? This pocket should be, you know, there's a back piece that is coming. When it comes, it will fold in by 1.5 inch. This is our back piece. You see this back piece is going to fold in. You see it? It's going to fold in. We have 2 inches here, but we're sewing it to become about 1.5. So when you are checking the depth from where your pocket should be, you leave your tape to be 1.5 inch outside, you know, the length of this top. Then you measure where your pocket should be. And we're going to keep this pocket at 9 inches. All right. Look at 9 inches here. The pocket is going to be at 9 inches. All right. At 9 inches here, and then it's going to be about maximum of 4 inches from the center point. This is the center. This is the center of the shirt, of the scrub. So 4 inches maximum from the center point. So this is 4 inches. Alright, so our pocket is going to sit right here. So I'm going to use hemming gum to gum it, so that we'll go over to the machine and finish it up. So pocket is sitting here. This gum is just at the edge. Alright, it's not supposed to gum deep inside, it's at the edge. Okay, I'm going to put it the second edge as well. If you take it inside much, it will gum the entire pocket. So you just use it at the edge so that it will hold the pocket together for you to be able to sew it neatly. Apply some water and then press it. I'm using my iron directly because it's not dirty, okay, and it doesn't stain fabric. If yours is staining, you try to use a piece of cloth, keep it there before you press. Very important, take note of that. So you see our pocket is here, so we can now go to the machine and we'll sew our biro pockets, and then we'll come and deal with the shoulders. So we are done sewing our biro pocket. So you see, you can actually put your biro inside. You see. Well, if you love this, just if you are enjoying the video, it's making sense so far, please, I will appreciate if you can give me a thumb up. I'll really appreciate. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to work on the back piece. All right, so this is our back piece here. All right, so we're going to keep, how do you join it? You keep, this is the bad side of the back piece. This is the bad side of the front. The bad and the bad are facing each other. The good side and the good side are outside. I hope you understand. It's very simple. The same way you join your native. There's no big deal there. So you now carry your yoke. All right, this is the yoke. All right, so you're going to keep your yoke. You turn it the good side, facing the good side. All right, you keep it here, and then you run a stitch. You join shoulders here. You also join here to here. So you're joining 1, 2, 3 of them together. 1, 2, 3 together. You join a line here. You also join a line here. All right, so I have made this stitch. You can see, as I was showing you, I've made my stitch. You know, I've made this stitch here. I've also made the stitch this side. But there is something very important I want to show us. Remember when we were sewing this front neck here, we sew it with an allowance of 1/2 inch. All right, that is why if you look at the way I started joining this yoke, I gave an allowance of almost ½ inch. The same allowance I sew here before turning the neck, if you can remember, because this neck is going to be inside turning. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is to sew on this allowance we have given here. You see this allowance we are given here, you can see it very well. You can see it from this side very well. You see how it's looking. So we're going to sew on this allowance here. It is both sides. We're going to sew on it, but it's going to be inside sewing. I believe we sew native, so we understand this. So we're going to now sew here, all right, all the way to this point here. Then we'll turn our neck. So I am done making the stitch. You see? Can you see the stitch? So the next thing we're going to do is to notch this part so that I'm going to turn it very well. Is to notch, all right. So the next thing is to notch, so that we can turn it very easily to the front. To notch it. It's actually quite simple. Please, the more likes this video receive, the more YouTube will recommend it for others. So please like the video. I really appreciate that if you do that. So now we're going to turn it, okay, to the back. You see, I'm going to turn it to the back. Hope you are following. Turn it to the back. You see how neatly it's looking. I'm going to turn it to the back. See how neatly it's looking. And let's use our iron on it. All right, so I think it's better like this. So it was this way, all right, so we're now turning to the back. I think it's better like this, so you see it much more clear. I'm going to use our iron. So after pressing it now, we'll consider hemming it with gum, the yoke with gum, so that consider gumming it, so that we'll just go over to the machine and finish up. So I've arranged one side very well, so I'm going to now put my hemming gum here. And even for your natives, all right, you do this, okay, so that when you go to the machine, you're sewing and what you're sewing is not squeezing, all right. So you still put your gum here. So when we go to the machine now, it's simply to make a stitch here, all right. And I also want to run a stitch around this neck. I want to run a stitch here. And then for our sleeves, it's a short sleeve. I've already hemmed my sleeve inside. So I'm going to do like this, and I'll make a stitch on it, so that as we're coming back, we're joining the shoulders, the sleeves rather. After stitching, let me show something. You can see it's looking a bit squeezed, all right, but if we just press it from the inside, press from the inside, I'll show you how it will then be looking. See, the pressing from inside, you can see it's no longer squeezed, all right. So that's the secret. When you sew, you make sure you press on your stitch from inside, you iron it from inside. That stretches, you know, whatever you have. So now when you're making doctor scrub, please make sure at this point use your head, okay, to test and see if it can go through your head. Then to give you an idea, you know, if it can go through the customer's head or not, because one of the challenges that people normally encounter learning how to make a scrub is that you make it and the head cannot enter, and then you have to go by trying to fix zip here and all that. So it's better at the point of making it, if your head doesn't enter, you can now decide to deepen this neck at the back a bit, or, you know, open it wider, but you must try it so as to address that matter before, should in case it arises, before giving it to your customer and then he or she goes complaining. It's not good. So at this point, the next thing we're going to do is to fix, to attach our sleeves. All right, and even our sleeves, we also press it from inside. All right, press from inside. I weaved it, okay, just to, instead of folding it twice inside, I just weaved it so that I will just to be easy and straightforward, simple. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to attach the sleeves. Okay, this sleeves goes here and this goes here, but before then we have to make a notch. We'll adjust our shoulders and make a notch. Trim our shoulders. And also you have to confirm your shoulder each time before you attach the sleeves to any dress you're making. Make sure you confirm your shoulders, okay? You measure your shoulders to confirm that the sleeve, that the shoulder is not too much. In most cases it's too much. It's very rare to have your shoulder looking too small after you've finished joining your dress. In most cases the shoulder is too wide, so you make sure you check your shoulders, okay? You check to see if what is there, what you're looking for. In my case, what you say is what I'm looking for, so I'm not going to trim anything out of it. Alright, so I'm carrying this sleeve. I'll join this sleeve here, join this sleeve here. So that's the next step. Alright, and how I'm going to do that, we're going to join it like this, the good side facing the good side of the dress, this side to the good side facing the good side. Alright, and we're going to start. See, there's a notch on this sleeve here. Look at this notch here. There's a notch on the sleeve. I notched the sleeve here, this notch here, so it's going to, okay, to stay with this notch here. So this is how we keep it, this notch to this notch. Alright, you sew this way, you sew that way for both sleeves. That's how we're going to do it. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, so you see we have joined our sleeves, as you can see. After joining our sleeve, like I showed you, from here we sew this way, from the center we sew the other way, both sides of the sleeves, both sides of the shirt. So after we are done with the sleeves, now we can see our top is taking shape. Well, like I said, please hit the subscribe button if you get to subscribe. If you subscribe, please like the video. That will help my video to gain more views. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to press it before we do the final joining. Alright, so we'll see how it will look. So please, I'm supposed to show you something. I'll show you that, okay? Please, we'll show you something very important. We'll show you something very important on the body. Alright, the body of the top. So please wait for it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to turn it from inside, okay, and then we are going to join the sides. Now in joining the sides, you need to take your chest measurement so that you will not join the shirt to be too small or too big. Alright, and at cutting you should already know the allowance you are keeping for sewing. Alright, so the bust of this is 48, so you can see we have half-inch allowance both sides. We're going to use, so we're going to sew it on half-inch allowance. And even the sleeve here, the sleeve is 17, so we have about 3/4 inch allowance. So we start here at 3/4, we come here at half-inch, then we take it half-inch all the way, and we will stop here. So I'm going to do that on both sides. So as you can see, I have finished joining the sides. As you can see, I've finished joining the sides. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is to hem it down here, all right. And remember I said I'm going to show you something, okay? Please just stay put. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show us something on the front part, very important. All right, so how do you hem this? You simply, I like dividing this gum. You know, you try to not to unnecessarily waste materials, okay, when you are working. Part of the aim is to make profits. It's not just to work and then you don't get nothing. I think this is enough for what we want to do. So we'll simply hem this. Make sure it is, the allowance is maintained, okay? The allowance you're hemming it, this is 2 inches, the 2 inches is maintained. Alright, 2 inches, okay? So you do this. Sorry, there's a gum there, I didn't notice. So the next thing to do is to fold it in by 1/2 inch. All right. Yeah. Let's use water here. So at this point, we'll now use our gum inside. All right, place the gum inside. This gum is very important because it gives what you are doing shape. All right, it makes it carry shape such that you don't need to struggle when you get over to the machine to sew. Without this gum, you will sew, and what you will sew, what you will stitch will not be, it won't be looking stretched and firm. All right, but this gum holds the fabric together such that when you see your stitches, you like them. You're impressed with your stitches. So it's very important to use this gum. So we are going to turn to the other side and do the same thing, okay? So we are turning this side to do the same thing we did that side. All right, so make sure it's flat. All right, so we can see after we are done hemming, we can see how neatly it's looking. You see, so let's turn it and see it. You can see how neatly it's looking. You can see, very neat. You can see this side as well, very neat. All right, so I'm not going to leave it like this. I'll run a stitch on it, just one stitch on it, like this, all the way to the back. All right, so we can see I've run the stitch on it. You can see the stitches. You see, I run on this good face, all right, all the way to the back. So you can see our scrub is ready, and it's You can tell that it's very simple to make this. Okay, it's not difficult at all. So what I wanted to show us is this. What else I'll show us is this. Now, some scrubs have pockets in front, like here and here, 2 pockets. Like I said before, it's a design. People design scrubs based on how they want it to be. Different people with different choices. Like some want it just plain like this, all right, with just this biro pockets. Okay, that's how some want it, as simple as this. You can see my biros entering here. This is how some persons want their scrub. Okay, some want it with pockets here. So if the person needs a pocket here, then what I want to show us is this, where to locate the pocket. And you just measure from the center shoulder here, center of the shoulder here, at 20 inches. That is where you locate the pocket. Maximum at 21. That's where you locate the pocket, the front pocket. All right, at 21 inches, between 20 and 21, depending on the height of the person. Between 20 and 21 inches, that is where you locate you place the 2 pockets. All right, it can be here and also here. All right, just some inches apart from this center line. It can be like 3 inches from the center line, like from here, and then the pocket can be like 7 inches wide. All right, from here to here. All right, so that's it. Very simple and straightforward. So if you enjoyed this video, if this video made sense, please hit the subscribe button, turn your notification bell on. I would really appreciate that. Give me a thumb up, a like, a comment. Thank you so much. Welcome to Nat Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate. Thank you.